Elon Musk dissects Paul Barron's claim that digital assets are the only viable option using his knowledge gained from working in Washington, D.C. The video will start playing. Additionally, links have changed, and we must be aware of this. Ripple is in the news. There are new collaborations, new information, new technology, and much more. Let's watch this movie first. It appears that you are in Palo Island rather than Washington, D.C. I am currently in Palo Alto, which is home to the Tesla Global Engineering headquarters. Please, no more. In Washington, D.C., you've returned to your job. You're on course. Indeed. Indeed. My last visit to Washington, D.C. was in May. All right. Doing that side quest was cool. When you were in Washington, D.C., what did you discover? Fixing the government is a challenging task. Elon, please know that I have considered David's excellent work on this. Having intelligent people in the government is beneficial, but more importantly, we have to pay off our national debt with an absurdly large sum of money that exceeds the budget for the Defense Department. I suppose I ought to abolish the War Department. They continue to rise. We're in trouble if robotics and artificial intelligence can't pay off our debt. With the advent of AI and robotics, what will other people do? Indeed, in the coming years, it is anticipated that 25–30% of conventional jobs would be replaced by robots and artificial intelligence. What are all those individuals doing? For that deeper discussion, please, I don't even want to consider how it would appear or how gloomy it could get. The folks in that room are intelligent. I did find some of this material interesting. How long can the United States wait? We're paying a lot more interest on our debts every year, as you may have heard. We pay $1 trillion of the $5 trillion in taxes collected by the U.S. each year. This indicates that interest is being paid with 20% of that. Put another way, if this issue continues to worsen, we won't be able to ignore it for very long. I wanted to know more about this because of this. This study is also available here. Given the current state of the economy, the U.S. can probably continue delaying for another 20 years before accruing too much debt. If foreign nations stopped purchasing U.S. debt, the global financial system would collapse. Prices would rise, interest rates would rise, and things would become worse. How long do they predict the financial markets will be able to manage U.S. obligations if the estimates are delayed? This hypothesis is based on the idea that the markets are prepared for future financial fixes by the government, such as tax increases or spending reductions. Our team has yet to complete these two tasks. Over the following 10 years, we provided a massive tax relief totaling trillions of dollars. It will be expensive. We're headed in the wrong way. We won't make any cuts. We spent more money in 2025 than we did in 2024. That's the reality. You don't have to trust me. If individuals believed in the system, there would be significantly less debt. The government collapses. There will be problems if the nations who typically purchase our government bonds and other obligations decide they no longer wish to do so. Since this is a house of cards, the cryptocurrency market is unable to purchase all of the U.S. debt. That's going to happen. If inflation rises too much, the United States will have to either formally default or make large-scale debt payments. No matter how much money is cut or how much is generated in taxes, this will still occur. What if prices rise, lending rates rise, there is a risk of a recession, and other nations decide not to purchase as much? The dollar is weak, the market is erratic, and it is costly. What should I say? How can the U.S. repay its obligations with the use of blockchain, the XRP ledger, and the company Ripple? The business can tokenize loan instruments using blockchain platforms like Ripple and the XRP system to assist the U.S. in addressing its debt issue. This will simplify budgeting and speed up debt repayment. It has been demonstrated that debt is currently being converted into tokens using the XRP system. This category includes standard government loans and bonds. The transaction can be completed digitally and settled on blockchain. To learn more about the connections between OSG and BlackRock, Ono, and Ripple, see Open Eden. That's what we're discussing. The World Economic Forum claims that ECRPL has contributed to the transformation of the financial markets by making them more transparent, open, and capable of real-time bill settlement. Shared ownership, improved market accessibility, and trading between token owners are all made possible by tokenization. This might attract new enterprises and save the government money. The business ripple is in where blockchain technology is being used in conjunction with public economics. Loan and settlement processes are now included in the XRP ledger. These standards aim to simplify and automate the management of debt and payments. W-Bull hitch may be possible to reduce waste, which contributes to the rise in the national debt. XRP can already be used to pay off a portion of the U.S. national debt. This indicates that the United States is shifting toward more flexible and affordable digital assets and payment methods. By facilitating transactions, managing debt, and facilitating quicker, safer, and less expensive government payments, it can enable the government to accomplish more. We also discussed the NASDAQ's proposal to convert assets into tokens in the stock market. The NASDAQ is paid by whom? But I showed you this entire study because it must be the DTCC. The adults in the room are these: Olive Wyman, Ava Labs, Cardano, Clearstream, DTCC, Euroclear, GBBC, Hedera Foundation, Ripple Observer, and the World Bank are some of the organization's names. There is a strong desire to alter the way banks operate. I believe that these businesses will succeed greatly for many years to come. All right, here it is. Blockchains and banks employ stable currency based on Ethereum. ANZ Bank uses atomic settlement and bulb moment. ANZ laid off 500 employees today. They can, in part, because computers are convenient. They let people go, but is it really a good thing? The ow or light bulb moment, in my opinion, was when we demonstrated that we could swiftly and simply resolve two property claims. Has over 8 banks and collaborates with the 4 largest in Australia, 30 countries and 5 million individuals, understanding the significance of Bitcoin. To execute a trade, we would now convert Australian dollars into tokens. But it wasn't until we converted our carbon credit inventory into a stable currency based on the Australian dollar and immediately utilized it to close a contract that we demonstrated that it was feasible. This demonstrated the implications for the asset market in terms of payment, safety, speed, and prices. We were ecstatic about blockchain technology's prospects after that. For your information, ANC has partnered